Maybe it's your gender. Maybe it's your class. Maybe it's the color of your skin, beauty, natural intelligence, money, whatever. The list goes on. In some way, you have power in a way that someone else doesn't. But what do you do with it? Do you lord it over other people? No, that's not what you would want somebody to do to you. And that's not what you should do when you have the upper hand, and you should know when you do. And that's you taking part in the power structure in a responsible way. Now on the flip side, there are all kinds of power that are not granted by birth, that are not automatically given to you. Those are the kinds that you must claim. And I believe the first step in figuring out what kind of power you want is figuring out what you want. What do you like? What is important to you? Figuring out the answers to these questions is not always easy, and to make it even more complicated, the answers are always changing. But you have to spend some energy on them and get a sense of, what you're into, what comes naturally, what are you good at. And don't you worry for a second if nobody shares those interests with you. The weirder you are, the more innovative you can be. And believe it or not, just getting to know yourself in that way and not apologizing for who you are is a kind of empowerment all on its own, before you've even really done anything. I've spoken to students at Hyderabad University, a lot of them studying the STEM field, who have never even really answered those questions for themselves. And, life is marching on. And they don't even know how that is. You're at an age now where it's a good time to start to think about it. So let me share a few examples from my own life about what empowerment has meant to me. When I was 13 years old, I had reconstructive spinal surgery, and prior to that, my life had been dance. Since I could walk, I was dancing, and I got all the solos, and I won the competitions, and it was my identity. And then I was told that I would likely not dance again after that surgery. And then 1 year later, where they said I might not even be walking regularly yet, I was back on stage. And I wasn't that great anymore. I was not winning any competitions, and I wasn't front and center like I used to be. But I had to redefine my definition of success, and I achieved it, and that was empowerment. Parents, close your ears. When I was 18, I dropped out of college in my first semester. Now, I'm not necessarily advocating that path, but it was what I felt I needed to do at the time, because I guess I hadn't really figured out what I wanted to do, and I couldn't keep doing something that I really wasn't that interested in. So I got an office job. I found my own apartment. I discovered the feeling of financial independence, meager as it was, and I explored my interests. And my peers, my family, everyone, basically, Ramya knows about this, said that I would amount to nothing. I mean, once you drop out, you never go back. I heard that over and over again. And 6 years later, I completed my BA in psychology, and in fact, I had an easier time transitioning into life after academia than a lot of other people did because of the experience that I had. And a lot of my family members had to say, oops, we were wrong. And that was empowerment. So, but then even when I was studying psychology, I remember people would ask me, so what are you going to do with that? How are you going to make money? And I wasn't sure. Are you going to be a psychologist? I don't know. I really didn't know. And they would reply with that judgmental, again, predictions of failure. But as you can see, I'm doing just fine. I'm working on paying off those student loans that I accrued overseas. And I discovered my passion for learning about other cultures, and I studied abroad. And now look, I live in India. I swear to God, I had this before I heard Mr. Prasad's lecture, but I learned to cross the street. That was empowerment. I learned to drive a scooter. Talk about empowerment. And I tied my own sari this morning for the first time. And thank you. And what else? I'm not crumbling to pieces because I'm not married yet, like a lot of people thought, I don't know, might happen. And, you know, some of these might seem like bigger or smaller accomplishments, but I think anytime you do something that exceeds the boundaries that you or other people have put on you, that is strength. And once you discover that place of strength, it's yours for life. Now, I'm not saying it was always fun or easy or free of failure. You need support. This road I've described was paved with a relentlessly supportive mother, countless gurus, and loving friends who all helped me understand that each of those failures that I had were simply, you know, building blocks for the next success. So now it is time for you to decide how much power you have and to earn more of it by doing things that others don't think you're capable of without fear. Just like what I've done here tonight by sharing these thoughts with all of you good people. Thank you.